I'm not gonna lie, some championship clubs have absolutely smashed their third kits, others, not so much. So guys, welcome back to the channel. Usually on a Friday we're going through our championship score predictions, but as we've not got any championship football this weekend, I thought we'd switch it up. We've already been over championship home kits, championship away kits. In today's video we're going to be ranking championship third kits. But before we do hop into anything, as always, a massive shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. As always, you can find the new OneFootball app in the top line of the description down below. Really handy app to go ahead and keep on top of all the football and news going around the world at the moment. Still got the domestic transfer market which is open, so if you want to get updates to that, OneFootball is really handy to have. And as always, you can also check out all the recent stats and get live updates to your phone whenever a goal does go in. So as always, OneFootball link down below. So the vast majority of championship clubs have released a third kit. There are some who are either yet to release one or just won't be for the season. But we've got an interesting mix in here. And without any further ado, let's hop into it. So starting out with Barnsley, if you watch my ranking of away kits, I wasn't the biggest fan of their white away shirt with those sort of hexagons on it. The third kit though, I quite like. I like the colour of it. I think that third kits always should be a little bit wacky and a little bit vibrant with the colour scheme they go for. Barnsley have kept this one fairly simple, but I think that with the vibrant yellow colour, it contrasts well with the black as well. I like how they've redone the badge for it as well to fit in with that black shade. The sponsor fits in well. I like the black trimmings around it. Overall solid shirt. It may even be my favourite one that Barnsley put out this year. 7 out of 10. Next up we then get to Birmingham. Now where to start with this one? They've gone for a green third kit. Now if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know my thoughts on this one. Birmingham have had a real mixed bag so far this season in terms of their kits. Home kit wasn't really feeling. Away kit absolutely love. Third kit, it's not doing it for me, I'm not gonna lie. They've gone for the same sort of Nike template that we've seen on the few kits so far this season, the same as their home kit, and that different shade of green as well and things like that. Listen, for a goalkeeper kit, fine, you can pull that off, but for me, it's just not doing it. I feel like this one's either one that you're gonna love or hate. For me, 5 out of 10. After that we then get to Bournemouth. Now Bournemouth have absolutely smashed it so far this season. Home kit, away kit were probably two of my favourites that championship clubs have put out so far. The third kit, I think is a solid entry, but I don't think quite lives up to the other two. I think that with the sort of effect they've gone for on the badge with the Umbro and then with the sponsor as well, it just looks, I don't know if it's the picture I'm looking at, it just looks a little bit washed out, like it's been through the wash one too many times and the badge has started to fade or something with that sort of faded white colour. I think if those things were a little bit more defined, then this one would be a really clean looking kit. But that bit just throws me off a little bit. I don't mind it, but not one of my personal favourites. 6.5 out of 10. Next up to Bristol City. Now, so far this season, the Bristol City kits haven't been doing it for me, and it's been a shame really, because Bristol City over the years have had some absolutely banging kits put out, especially when they were made by Bristol Sport. Their third kit though, I think they've gone ahead and redeemed themselves here. Home kit wasn't really feeling, away kit wasn't feeling at all, but third kit is right up there for me. There's also quite a bit of meaning behind this one as well. In the fine print of this kit, they've got the names of over 5,400 different Bristol City fans, obviously while they can't be at the games. One of my biggest complaints about the other two Bristol City kits was the sponsor looked a little bit tacky on it. I think it fits into this one a lot better, and then the red trimmings it's got going on around the sleeves as well, it just all fits in together a lot nicer. It's a really clean looking shirt. For me, that is by far and away the best kit Bristol City have put out this season. 8.5 out of 10 for me, absolute banger. Next up to Cardiff City, who have literally just reused their away kit from last season as their third kit this time round, so they lose a lot there for creativity. I really wasn't feeling Cardiff's away kit this season. I actually think I probably prefer this one, to be honest with you. Although even this one I don't think it's going to be winning any awards in design or anything like that, although it does stand out a lot more. For me, 6 out of 10, just standard. Next up to Derby County. Now for Derby, for their home and away kit, I accuse them of being a little bit bland, a little bit boring, playing it very safe and in the box. For the third kit, they've thrown all that out the window, gone for a pink kit for a very good cause as well, I must say. And it ticks a lot of boxes for me, this one. By far and away the best kit Derby have put out this season. The other two kits that Derby went for were very simplistic, and sometimes that does work, but this time round it did meander a little bit into boring for me. The third kit I think is absolutely stunning. I don't know why I always will be a little bit partial to a pink away kit though. It's a little bit, you know, it stands out, doesn't it? My side Preston quite a few years ago now had a pink away kit, and I was a fan of that one. It's for a great cause as well. For every sale of the shirt they make, they'll donate £5 to breast cancer charities. So not just does it have meaning behind behind it, but I also quite like the design pattern to it. It looked really good last weekend against Norwich. That's getting a 9 out of 10. Derby, you've gone ahead and pulled it back in the kit department. Next up we then get to Huddersfield, and they're keeping the bar fairly high for this one. Once again, I'm a big fan of this one. Huddersfield has been a bit of a mixed bag for me. I like their home kit, wasn't really feeling their away kit too much, but the third kit absolutely brings the level back up. Obviously, when you're going into a season without a kit sponsor, you need your tip to win quite a fine line. You don't want it to become a bit of a boring shirt, but you also don't want to go overboard with the design pattern or anything like that. I feel like this one balances that perfectly. Love the wacky design pattern they've got going on around the sleeves. It's a nice colour as well, and then they've got the simplicity of it down the middle. For me, 8 out of 10, really feeling that one. Next up to Luton Town's third kit. I think it's a solid effort. Now, their away kit I was a massive fan of. The third one, not as much. I think it does start to look like a little bit like a training top, this one, for some reason, but it's not too outlandish and out there, and there's not all too much wrong with it, to be completely honest. I think I'm probably being a little bit picky. For me, 6 out of 10, it's a solid shirt. After that, we then go to Norwich City with quite possibly one of the most out there third kits that a Championship club has released this season. What do I think of it? I think they've absolutely smashed this one out of the park, and this may even be the best kit that I've seen released this season in the Championship. We're talking all the home kits, all the away kits, all the third kits. This one, wow. There's so much to love about this one. It's the sort of one that I'm tempted to buy, and I'm not even a Norwich fan. A black kit will always rank high for me. I think you can never really go too wrong with that, but what they've really done to this one is they've got a black kit and they put it in a blender with some Starburst or something like that, and what's come out is absolutely unbelievable. It's vibrant, it's unique, it stands out, but it's not overboard with what they've done, I don't think. All the different colours look fantastic in there together. The sponsor doesn't look too out of place. For me personally, that is getting the first 10 out of 10. For me, the best kit a Championship club's released this year. Prove me wrong in the comments down below. For me, perfection. Up next, we then have the Nottingham Forest third kit. Now, before we get into this one, I do have a bit of an apology to make. I must say sorry to Sheffield Wednesday fans, because I absolutely battered their away kit. I slated it. I said I wasn't a fan at all. Obviously, theirs very similar to the Forest kit with that camouflage design. And the first time I actually saw it in person, it was obviously in TV when Wednesday were actually playing in the kit. It went up so much in my estimations. I must have been looking at a dodgy picture or something, because the players actually wearing the kit, it didn't look as bland as I initially thought, and it's actually really grown on me quite a bit since. So flipping over to this Nottingham Forest kit, I quite like it. I think that when the players are in it, it'll be looking quite nice. My perspective of camouflage kits has sort of flipped on its head completely since I made my last video, but it's a nice looking kit. I think the orange contrasts quite well with it as well. It brings a little bit of character out of it. I'm going to give that a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's looking quite nice. After that, we then get to North End. Now, on the whole, I think that Preston have been done fairly well this season by Nike. I think I was a fan of our home kit. Away kit I also like as well. Third kit, though, it's another green one. We're carrying on the trend of us and Birmingham having pretty much the same kits this season, and I'm not feeling this one as much, I must admit. We got a great result on it the other weekend against Brentford, but in terms of the actual kit itself, I do think this is the weakest of all three that we put out this season, for me at least. The design pattern's so much, I don't actually mind. I feel like if it was a different colour or something like that, then this one could work out. It's a little bit boring. I don't think I'm going to be getting this one. I give it like a 5.5 out of 10. Next up to Rotherham United, who are coming in with, I think, a solid effort for their third kit this year. By no means my favourite, but they've kept this one fairly simplistic with sort of black trimmings. There's nothing really that jumps out about it, but I think the simplicity of this one works quite well with it. Not my favourite Rotherham kit this year. I was a big fan of their away kit, I think, but still a solid effort nonetheless, 6 out of 10. After that, we then go to Swansea City, who have picked up a fairly similar colour to Rotherham's third kit, but they've ran with it and they've done a little bit more with this one to spice it up. Swansea's kits this season have been a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, their away kit, to say the least, was very much hit or miss. That one was a bit of a Marmite kit. This one, though, does do the business for me. I like what they've done with it. I think it looks quite sleek. It all fits in quite nicely, and then with the sort of purpley pink trimmings it's going on around it as well. This, I think, could be the best kit that Swansea have put out this season. I'm giving that an 8.5 out of 10. Big fan of that one. We move on next to the Watford kit, another one which has absolutely smashed it out of the park. Now, the home kit was a little bit divisive. I think some people were a big fan of it, myself included. Other people not feeling that one as much. The white away kit, I think, was was a solid entry as well into this season's kit edition, but their third kit, it's another one which they've smashed for me. I'm absolutely loving this one. Black and yellow always looks fantastic together. It's a little bit reminiscent of sort of like a Dortmund away kit or something like that, I think, with the colour scheme it's got going on. Great design pattern along the shirt as well. It's got a bit of a unique feel to it. You can tell that it's got a little bit more about it and a little bit more thought's been put into this one than one of the basic sort of night template tops. The sponsor actually fits in quite well despite it being quite big with the colour scheme on the badge and everything like that and the yellow trimmings it's got. This one gives Norwich's third kit a close run for its money, but just falls short. I'm giving that a 9.5 out of 10. Huge fan of that one as well. And then finishing today's video off with the Wycombe third kit. Now, so far, not really been a big fan of the Wycombe both home and away kits. They were looking a little bit too busy. The sponsor didn't fit in particularly well. This one, however, the Cherry Red Record sponsor, actually looks quite sleek on this kit with the sort of white and red quadrants it's got going on. There was this quite sort of hideous design pattern on the home kit whereby these stripes would run actually through the sponsor. I like it a lot more that they actually stop in the middle of it and the sponsor's boxed off a little bit. I look forward to seeing that one in action, but for the time being, I'm giving that a 7 out of 10, solid entry. But guys, there we have it. That will wrap it up for today's video. So like I said, not every championship club has gone ahead and released a third kit. Some may be doing in the future, but others just decide not to. So if any of your clubs are set to release one or we missed one in today's video, then do let me know in the comments down below. But do let me know as well, what was your favourite kit we saw in today's video and what was your least favourite? But guys, that will now wrap it up like I said. So if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and please do stick around for some regular championship content. Please do subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for tuning in and I'll see you all in the next one.